June 2021, our good old friend Brightside made another video titled, Who is Cooler? Giant Dinos versus Tiny Dinos. Let's just watch this thing.
The largest land animal ever known was Argentinosaurus.
Yes, some people say it's Brachiosaurus, it's larger than Argentinosaurus. However, the Brachiosaurus is just very fragmentary compared to the Argentinosaurus.
One bone of this giant was as large as a grown-up human. The complete skeleton hasn't been discovered yet. Still, the scientists claim this dinosaur could be...
Okay. Now, this doesn't look so much like an Argentinosaurus. It looks a little more like a Brachiosaurus, judging by its head. Its nostrils, the sauropod's nostrils should also not be, like Jurassic Park. They should be placed more at the front.
21 to 131 feet. If 7 Argentinosauruses stood in a row, they could replace the London Bridge.
Okay. They could replace the London Bridge, which is incredibly, whatchamacallit, just really sketchy, because these Argentinosaurs, they're probably going to die as they just collapse.
Pterosaurs were usually large. The
pterosaurs are not dinosaurs. Why did you just put an entire group of...
species had a 10-inch wingspan, while the largest ones could have it up to 36 feet wide. Had a 10-inch wingspan. The smallest species...
smallest ones had 10 feet. Have you forgotten about stuff like Anorognathus? They didn't even reach 2 feet in wingspan.
10-inch wingspan, while the largest ones could have it up to 36 feet wide.
The 36 feet wide, okay. That's fine, I guess. Hold up, sorry.
For comparison, the largest span of a modern bird's wings is just about 11 feet.
Oh, right. Then, pterosaurs.
Why
did you just put them in supposedly a dinosaur video? Man, it's just the mainstream stuff for Brightside once again.
A modern giraffe, but they weighed less to be able to fly, only 550 pounds. Brachiosaurus was 86 feet long, and it had an incredibly long neck. Standing over 40 feet in the air, its whole body was designed for this animal to
get food from trees. Like most other sauropods? So why would anyone be surprised by that fact, man? It's just redundant.
Food from trees easily. Its hind legs were relatively short, and the front ones somewhat longer. Diplodocus had curious teeth shaped like a comb.
Okay.
Dino was 85 feet long and weighed slightly more than 3 elephants. Its neck was so long that scientists aren't sure how the animal could even hold it.
Are you talking about the Mamenchisaurus? When it comes to super long necks.
Paralotitan was about 82 to 100 feet long. Its bones
Of course, there's going to be a Paralotitan.
were so large that Paralotitan could even rival Argentinosaurus in size.
That statement is completely and utterly ridiculous. Are you confusing with the Patagotitan?
4 of these creatures standing on each other's shoulders would be enough to fix Big Ben's hands if they were a little too fast.
Okay. So, this is just Paralotitan.
Titan. What a beautiful name, huh?
Ostroposeidon. Oh, okay. Yeah, Ostroposeidon is less mentioned than the others, and so it's cool that Brightside included this thing.
Largest among all the Titanosaur species. A fully...
What? Ostroposeidon was the largest among all the Titanosaur species. It's like you forgot about the Argentinosaurus.
animal.
Or even Fangorn.
About 80 feet long, which is around 1.5 of a Hollywood sign. Spinosaurus lived where the Sahara Desert is.
Jurassic Park 3. Spinosaurus.
There used to be rivers full of fish and lots of swamps, so it lived both in and out of the water.
Both in and out of the water. Really, really cool Spinosaur.
It was almost 50 feet long and had a large plate on its back that looked more like a sail.
Plate? Okay. Plate is not really how you describe it. I guess a sail is how you can describe it? Sure.
Spines on its sides. Tylosaurus was one of the biggest creatures that ever lived on our planet. It grew to 45 feet long, ate fish and even larger creatures, like sharks, except for the Meg, which was about the same.
Tylosaurus.
Ate fish and even larger creatures.
It's not a dinosaur. It's just a marine reptile. In fact, it's more closely related to snakes than anything.
Sharks, except for the Meg, which was about the same length. Tylos had a really weird extra set of teeth on the roof of its mouth for a better grip and grind. Despite its large size, T-Rex was really fast and had a large brain. This terrifying 40-foot-long dino was related to a chicken. It came...
T-Rex. Related to a chicken? Okay. I mean, chickens are theropods as well, so technically you're correct.
Bird family and might have had feathers, so it's technically a very angry bird with very sharp teeth.
T-Rex is not a bird. Oh my god, what is this misconception from 2015?
Their tiny arms with 2 fingers were the size of human arms. Suchomimus looked like
hold up. Hold up. Why do they have 3 claws instead of 2? You said that they had 2 claws on. Why do they have 3? And they're pronated as well.
Of human arms. Suchomimus looked like a retro version of a crocodile. By the
Retro crocodile. I mean, to be fair, Suchomimus is called a crocodile mimic for a reason.
Its name actually means crocodile mimic. They were about 34 to 36 feet long, almost twice as long as today's longest saltwater croc.
And like, Suchomimus isn't even a and if you really want to use a comparison with saltwater crocodiles, just use something like Purosaurus or Deinosuchus. But then again, they're not dinosaurs, while Suchomimus is a dinosaur.
And low long. It measured slightly above 20 feet. Parasaurolophus had incredible
Parasaurolophus? Okay.
jaws that would grind and not chew plants.
Okay. This is just Clash of the Dinosaurs level bad. How did you even try to correct yourself there? Parasaurolophus. Anything besides that stupid mispronunciation.
Had a weird head ornament. The scientists still aren't sure about its purpose, but one of the most popular theories claims it was much needed for regulating temperature.
Okay, that's fine. But, you know, back then, paleontologists thought the Parasaurolophus could breathe fire.
These giants were 12 feet tall and over 30 feet long. Allosaurus had 8-inch long claws, 70 massive razor-sharp teeth, and a
This doesn't look like an Allosaurus at all. Neither does this look like a Tyrannosaurus.
flexible skull. Thanks to its bone structure and
Look at how tiny the Allosaurus arms are.
claws that could bend outwards, these dinos could grab and hold even the largest chunks of meat.
Look at this Allosaurus. You'd really mistake it for another dinosaur. If the right side didn't mention that is an Allosaurus. It's supposed to be an Allosaurus, which isn't even a freaking... Oh my god. This is completely and utterly crazy, man.
They were only 9 feet tall, slightly taller than the world's tallest man, but very long, having 32-foot bodies.
Okay. 32 feet. I think that's more of the longest Allosaurus. or something.
Stegosaurus was famous for the plates that adorned its spine. They were used as thermocontrol, soaking up sunlight during the day and distributing it all over its body at night. They had a pretty small brain compared to their body mass. These dinos were about 30 feet long and 13 feet tall.
By the way, the Stegosaurs, they're, oh my god, why are they so freaking distorted? That's just distorted. There's mutant Stegosaurs like Distortus Rex.
A Triceratops weighed 8 tons despite a plant-based diet. They were quite slow walking because of that multi-ton weight.
But they're quite agile because of their front limbs, forelimbs splayed out like a lizard, as well as their ball socket joint on their neck.
Those leaves better and faster. It was geared with about 800 teeth. This many teeth would never fit in a human's mouth. It's as if one human had teeth of 25 adult individuals.
Okay.
Compared to his dino mates, Majungasaurus was relatively short.
Majungasaurus is relatively short, yes, but that doesn't mean that Majungasaurus had well-developed arms like this. This is basically just Disciple to Jurassic World the game.
6 feet, yet quite long. About
Majungasaurus is short, yeah.
5 feet. Its enormous tail would make up over 50% of its body length.
Over 50% of its body length?
These guys lived in London. There'd be no way they could take a double-decker.
No way they could take a double-decker. You know, they could just flip it over if they try hard enough.
Just the same length as this famous London bus. Plateosaurus, which literally means a flat lizard, was about 23 feet long. It weighed like 4 cows and had
4 cows.
Claws for thumbs that it could use to collect food.
Collect food and also swat some fools.
Scientists aren't sure if it walked on 2 or 4 feet. Gallimimus was about 20 feet long, thanks to its large tail.
Long tail, you mean?
Also pretty tall, about 9 feet. A human being could stand without bending under that tail.
Okay, so Plateosaurus. It's located. Gallimimus is definitely a biped. A lot of
It's raining.
over here are bipeds. So let's see. Plateosaurus, from what I can search, it primarily walked on its 2 hind legs.
Not that broad, but
While its
enough
forelimbs were relatively strong and capable of grasping, they were not suited for quadrupedal locomotion.
to keep one human dry. Dilophosaurus was quite into eating fish. Its teeth weren't powerful enough, and the front ones even had a
Why do they all have the same... Why do they all have the same freaking model, just different colors? I don't get it. The Dilophosaurus' arms aren't like that.
them. So real hunting was
Dilophosaurus seems like it's dead inside, not gonna lie.
a challenge for it. These dinos were about 19 feet long, just about the size of a giraffe stretched on a grassy lawn, and 6 feet tall.
Wait, that can't be like that.
Pachycephalosaurus, let's call it simply Paco, may not
It's also got the same... It's also got the same arms, same everything.
have been the
How can Right Side be this freaking lazy?
largest of
I
its
know
kind.
Right Side is a content farm, but... Come on! Just trace off Jurassic Park or something. Like, it wouldn't be accurate, but at least you'd be commended for your hard work instead of whatever this is.
But it had spectacular 3D eyes. If you invited it to the movies, it would probably need no glasses on. It would be hard to find a comfortable seat for your new buddy, though. It was about 16 feet long and 5 feet tall. Dracorex means
Dracorex.
King of Dragons, probably because of the numerous knobs on its head that looked like a crown. It had tiny front arms.
By the way, it's more likely than not that this is a juvenile Pachycephalosaurus.
So even if it had a crown on, it wouldn't have been able to take it off. They were about 15 feet long, had awesome sharp teeth, and incredibly hard skulls that were a perfect soft cushion for their tiny brains. True to
Okay, then.
Than an adult human. Only
This doesn't look like a Troodon. This looks like a regular dromaeosaur. Sorry.
feet tall, but it was wider, measuring about 6 feet. Scientists believe it was the smartest dino of all.
Of course. Of course it's a
Compared to
Troodon.
modern land animals, a Troodon was as smart as an ostrich, and these guys are brainy. It also had a lot of teeth, letting them eat different types of food.
Okay.
There was one dino as large as a human being. An average human is about
Using basically the same freaking model as the Troodon. It's the Velociraptor.
6 foot tall, and
The
1
same model as the Troodon.
human is as large
How
as a human
is?
being.
How did
average
this even pass, man?
Is about 5 foot 6 inches tall and 1 foot 6 inches wide. This guy was slightly larger than a human lying on a couch.
Longer? Okay.
Foot
But
6 inches
larger?
tall
No, Velociraptor was not larger than a regular old human.
and 6 foot 5 inches wide, thanks to its lovely tail. It's a velociraptor, a bird-like dinosaur, even though these birds had wings and feathers.
But birds are dinosaurs? So, bird-like dinosaur, that statement is absolutely nonsensical.
They were unable to fly.
It's
Another
just dinosaur-like dinosaur.
dino that could blend in human groups if they coexisted was Borogovia. It was neither tall nor wide, both measurements under 5 feet.
It could be a nice prehistoric pet. It's going to be, it's going to have to be domesticated first. Like wolves did. like humans did with wolves. This has to be domesticated.
Could be a nice prehistoric pet. Microraptor wasn't that good at flying, despite having long feathers and long upper arm bones.
Its feathers should be black, and it should be iridescent.
And long upper arm bones. It could probably glide from tree to tree, looking for some food,
But this one over here is
or even launch itself into the
air.
air and fly short distances. It weighed under 1 pound and was about 2.5 feet long. Giravenator was only
What, Durantor?
1.5 feet long.
What? Okay.
Giravenator was only
Okay.
2.5 feet long, shorter than a Maine Coon. Many theropods were bird-like, but this dino most likely had scales.
Many theropods were bird-like. What? This dino most likely had scales? What? What? This statement is... How do I even say anything else?
Feathers. Anchiornis was another giant chicken, just like T-Rex. This guy had colorful feathers and was impressively good at flying short distances. Still, long distance
Oh my god. I wasn't gonna send already.
quite challenging for it. They were tiny, only about 13 inches long, and weighed no more than 4 ounces. The smallest dino that had ever lived on our planet was Oculodentibus.
Smallest dino is the bee hummingbird, not the Oculodentibus.
It was even smaller than today's world's smallest bird.
Today's world's small. Oh. Hold on. The Oculodentibus is an extinct genus, avian dinosaur. This is a lizard under taxonomic placement. It's just really unclear.
Hummingbird. But while the latter prefer eating some freshly picked nectar, Oculodentibus had razor-sharp teeth and preferred insects to sweet flowers. It's kinda unfair to talk about prehistoric animals and not include Mr. Mammoth.
The mammoth is not a dinosaur, though? Okay.
That large, just about the size of a modern African elephant. The main difference between mammoths and elephants is the ear size. Because of cold climate, mammoths had small ears and kept them close to their heads.
Okay. And, of course, I think that's pretty much all there is, but like 6 seconds.
Their tusks were 15 feet long, about the length of a Dragorex.
And 15 feet long is not the length of a Dracorex, then that's not our chance. Yet another Bright Side wild ride. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you on the next one.
Special thanks to channel members for supporting this channel. It helps out a ton.